Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is Raja Umar on my channel RU Speaks. Raja Umar speaks for you all for the subject of geography these days, and today we are going to talk about the natural topography, location, lifestyle, economy, and everything regarding Pothwar Plateau, including salt range and the natural topography of Balochistan Plateau in today's lesson. So here you can see the map or the location of Pothwar Plateau first. So if we start with, here you can see that on this is the location of Pothwar Plateau, including salt range, right? So what you see that the region, first of all, Islamabad, the federal capital. In the south of Islamabad, in this region, we find Rawalpindi, extended one, this whole region. Then we find this region, Jhelum, and we find Chakwal region over here, and we find Attak region in this one, and some parts of Miyawali, as I explained. So here is the location of whole of the Pothwar Plateau, and you can see that right in the south of this region, if I erase all the lines I have drawn over here, you can see the salt range. I mean in the south of Chakwal, adjoining areas of river of Jhelum from this side, eastern side, and this is the Kalarkar region and the salt region. And on the further southwest region, we find the Kalaba Gorge as well. I mean, this is the part of Miyawali, as I was explaining you people the other day when I gave you the overall introduction of the topography of Pakistan, that the Pothwar Plateau consists of Islamabad, Rawalpindi, Jhelum, Chakwal, Attak, and some parts of Miyawali. That was the Kalabagh Gorge region where Kalabagh Dam was proposed. Let's see when it will be constructed. And so this is the location of whole of Pothwar Plateau. Now what we observe, another very important factor regarding the location of Pothwar Plateau. First of all, if we define a plateau, plateau is the comparatively flat land high above the sea level is known as a plateau, right? Flat land, number one. Secondly, elevated. Comparatively flat land, I mean when we compare it with the mountains, it is comparatively flat and it is elevated, raised from the surrounding areas in comparison, right? If I draw over here, it is just like this. Now it is raised from the rest of the land and it is comparatively flat in comparison with the mountains in the north, high mountains, but still it is really very much rugged, uneven because of erosion factor, bad land topography, ditches, ravines, depressions. They all are characteristics, and this whole of the land is composed of boulder, gravel, and stones, not much of the soil. So it means that the land is not really very much fertile for the sake of carrying out the farming activity in this area. So these are the some of the characteristics of this whole of region. So what was the important factor I wanted to explain, that in this region what we see that on the western side we see river Indus flows. This is river Indus flows. River Indus enters in Punjab at Attock region and it flows southwards, passes across the western borders of Pothwar Plateau, and here it comes at Kalabagh Mianwali, where Kalabagh Dam was supposed to be constructed over here, and then it is going downwards towards the border of Punjab and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa in this direction. And on the eastern side, what we see that river Jhelum, this is Azad Kashmir region. River Jhelum flows southwards. From Mirpur region, it enters into Jhelum, Punjab, and it flows southwards up to this point. Then it takes turn towards southwest and it flows on the eastern side of whole of the Pothwar Plateau and it goes this way downwards. So the land in between these two rivers is this whole land in between two rivers, river Jhelum and river Indus, is known as Pothwar Plateau. Right? So this is the location of Pothwar Plateau. Now moving on to the natural topography, I mean the topographical features and other factors related to Pothwar Plateau. So here we are, topographical features and drainage patterns of Pothwar Plateau. First we are going to talk about the topography. So it is declared as badland topography. Why? As I have said that in this region the land is not flat but it is rugged. If we visit the different parts of Pothwar Plateau, you will find this sort of land, right? And at times you find depressions like this, rugged, and depressions as well like this. So now this region is depression. There are ravines and ditches over here they compose because of the soil erosion factor. So this whole of the region has badland topography, dissected and eroded land. As I told you that this is formed because of the soil erosion. Then flowed valleys over there with deep slides. As I said that whenever we say that at points you may find these sorts of depressions as well in this region. Ravines and gullies, flat undulating surface at some places. So these are the characteristics of the Pothwar Plateau. Whole of this region, Rawalpindi, Islamabad, Attock, Chakwal, Jhelum and some parts of Mianwali, they all carry this sort of topography over here, this one. Now moving on to the drainage patterns, tributaries. Many of the smaller water channels, they are coming down from the Margala Hills, from Murray Hills. They all are coming down and they are joining like this and entering into the Pothwar Plateau. And again here in this region, they spread up, making alluvial fans over here. And notably, only Swan River Swan flows in this region, coming from the Margala Hills downwards towards south, and it flows like south westwards like this, and finally very close to the same Mianwali region it falls into the Indus River. So Swan is the only, you can say, the natural source of water, but these days this river has almost no water in it, and this is carrying the sewage water of the whole of the Rawalpindi city and Islamabad these days. So not really very much favorable for the region. Now the drainage patterns we are talking about. Salt. There are certain salty lakes, as we see in this region. As I am from this region, I have seen that the water is salty in that region. I mean the water contains larger quantity of salts they all are available in that soil. Salty lakes are there like Kalar Kahar, very close to salt range. Because just in that region we find the Khevda mines. It means that naturally there is larger quantity of soil in those, of salts in those mountains. So because of that, whatever the lake is made over there, that is known as Kallar Kahar. Kallar means, in the local language, Kallar means salty, right? And this is Kahar means lake. So salty lake is the meaning of this word. So inland drainage, as I was explaining, that all the water channels, they are coming down, they are making alluvial fan over here in the Pothwar region. But we observe that they absorb whole of their waters into this region, and this is known as inland drainage. I mean, only one major source coming out of it, that is River Swan, and it falls into the Indus River. So all these smaller water channels, they get absorbed into the lands of the Pothwar Plateau, and they do not have enough water in them. That's why it is known as they carry inland drainage over here. Seasonal and temporary Swan River, as I said, that carrying really very less water in it, so making it really very temporary one. And the seasonal rivers, as I told you, that this whole of the region is elevated higher. So it means that water does not rise, water does not go upstream, right? So it means that if water does not go upstream, it means that the water flows away from this region, making this region a bit drier as far as the natural water sources are concerned, like having big rivers. So these are the physical features and the drainage patterns of Pothwar Plateau. There is another map over here showing whole of this plateau. So Northern Pothwar Plateau, Southern Pothwar Plateau, Eastern Pothwar Plateau. Up over there you can see the Margala Hills over here, right? And then Margala Piedmont Plain. Piedmont Plain is again the same thing. When the water channels come downstairs and they make alluvial fans over here, and the plain area is just after that alluvial fans, that is known as the Piedmont Plain. So, and you can see over here in the Fatehjung region, that Attock region, that is known as the Kala Chitta range, and Attock Haro basin, River Haro flows in the Attock region. The River Haro, on which the Khanpur Dam is constructed over there in that, and Khanpur, the Haro River comes from the Hazara region, from Abbottabad Mansehra region, and it flows across the Hazara region, then it enters into Attock region, and then it falls into the Indus River. So Khairi Murat in Rawalpindi district, these mountains, smaller mountains are up over here. And if we go this way, Kohat range is on the western side of Pothwar Plateau, and here we have the Kalabagh Gorge in this region, Kalabagh Hills, where the Kalabagh Dam was proposed. And here you can see the Sakesar Plateau, Sun Sakesar district, Khushab, and then Salt Range, Piedmont Plain on the other side of Salt Range. And here you can see the salt range down over here, I mean the Khevda mines and the Kalar Kahar region, right? And this is on the other side. Here the plain area starts beyond this one, beyond Salt Range, Jhelum Plains. It means that the Indus Plain starts from this region. So this whole one is Pothwar Plateau, and it carries all these characteristics I explained. So here we can see the Swan Alluvial Valley, River Swan Valley. So this is the very good map to explain whole of the Pothwar Plateau. So moving on to the Balochistan Plateau. So if we talk about a bit of the importance of this region for the sake of the lifestyle and the economy, this whole of the region is mineralized. In this area, the raw material for cement industry is available in abundance, whether in the Margala Hills or in the Salt Range region. The cement industry is quite developed in this region, and mostly people are in jobs, and they prefer to be in jobs, and they serve military in this region, and this region does not have enough industrialization except cement industry, and people prefer to be in jobs, and very modern area including the federal capital Islamabad and Rawalpindi cities, they are here in this region, and very well developed infrastructure is there, and roads and railways networks and the buildings, they are really very much modernized. So people prefer to live in the whole of this region. No doubt that this area is not good for agriculture, and the suburban and the rural areas of this region suffers a lot because of the lack of rainfall, timely rainfall over here in this region, making the Barani lands really very much ineffective for the people, as the lands are not very much fertile, and the rainfall does not occur at right time, making really unpredictable sort of land for the sake of agriculture. But for the sake of social development and the other factors, quite good area to live in. So these are the characteristics. As I told you that the industry only established over here, that is in the cement industry, and in this region close to Islamabad, we have developed industry over here, and in Salt Range region we have developed cement industry over here in this region, and down over here at the Sakesar region, Khushab region, we find certain cement factories over there, as well as there is sufficient raw material available in the closest, in the Salt Range region, in the Margala region, or in the Attak region, Kala Chitta region, and in the Kalabag region. The sufficient raw material is available. I mean the clay, shale, limestone, gypsum, they all are available. That's why this region carries really good cement industry over here. So that was the lifestyle and economy of the people, economy of this area. Moving on to the Balochistan Plateau now. So here is the topography of Balochistan. Again, elevated land, very much like Pothwar Plateau, and the maximum height is 3010 meters high, and Haran Desert is also part of this region. Here we have Haran Desert. Plateau is, this whole one is Balochistan Plateau. As I told you the other day that almost whole of Balochistan is a plateau, rugged and carrying badland topography. So Haran Desert is part of Balochistan Plateau. It is comparatively having flat land, but if we go to Google Earth and we see that this land is really very much rugged and uneven. And rolling sand dunes are there because of the deserted land, bare rocks, parallel ranges in that area. Just going to explain that which ranges are there. In the northern Balochistan, we find up over there in the north, Toba Kakad range in this region, given over here in the bullet point. Toba Kakad range is in the northern Balochistan, and we find a pass that is known as Kojak Pass, and it connects the northern Balochistan with the Quetta Valley, and it also connects Pakistan with Afghanistan in this direction. And as I was explaining the other day, Bolan Pass is also there. It joins Kachi Sibi plains with the Quetta Valley like this. And Central Barohi range, right in the center of Balochistan, we find Central Barohi range over here in this region. Again, there are parallel ranges and parallel mountains are there. Then if we move towards the western side, we find Chagi Hills. Here we have Chagi Hills. They are really very famous and very important mountain range, Chagi Hills. These are the hills where Pakistan conducted its nuclear tests in 1998, 28th of May, Yom Takbir. Right, and then in the south of Chagi Hills, we find Rasko, right, and in this area, further downwards, we find Sihan range. Then we have in this region, we find a range that is known as the Central Makran range, Sihan, Central Makran, and right in the south, we find the Makran coastal range. So there is a series of mountain ranges: Chagi Hills, Rasko, Sihan, Central Makran, and Makran coastal range. So these are the 5 ranges from north to south in the western parts of the Balochistan Plateau. And if we move towards the eastern side of the plateau, towards Sindh province, as we have already studied that we have Kirthar range over here. This is part of western mountain that already explained. Just in the west of Kirthar range, there is Pub range and Hala range. Right? So Pub and Hala range, these 2 ranges are in the west of Kirthar range like this, and we find Kachi Sibi plains over here in this region on the eastern side of Central Barohi range. Here we find the Kachi Sibi plain, and the last one, that is the Lasbela plains as well. Lasbela plains is down in south. If you allow me to erase all these so that I may be able to explain the location of. So border, this is the Lasbela plains just at the bordering regions of Sindh province and Balochistan province. So that is known as Lasbela plains. So all these mountain ranges and the plains, they all are parts of Balochistan Plateau. Rugged landscape, sand dunes are there, bare rocks are there, really very less rainfall in this region. And one other very important characteristic of this region is that this region has again these salty lakes, and these salty lakes are known as Hamons. And Hamun means this is the sort of Persian words. In Persian, Hamun is known as the salty lake. So Hamun-e Mashkhel is the biggest one over here in this area. And if we watch the Google Earth image, you will see that this region has this region has many of the lakes over there. They all are known as I will not be annotate on the Google Earth, but I will be able to show you that this region has all those salt lakes available. So if we first identify, here you can see that this whole of the region is rugged. You can see that the landscape, it is not really very much even landscape is like this. This is flat land, that is the Indus plain. But if we come towards the Balochistan Plateau, you will see that this whole of the region is having the rugged landscape, and it is rugged, badland topography as of Pothwar Plateau and not suitable for farming. But this whole of the region is highly mineralized. In the northern regions of the Balochistan Plateau, we find the mines of chromite and iron over there at Muslim Bagh and the surrounding areas. And we see that in the certain green valleys very close to Quetta, we see that in that region the fruit farming is being done. And down in south, we can see that over here, Turbat region, just in the north of Gawadar, we find that date palm farming is being done. Dates are being grown, date trees are there, and whole of this is rugged. As I told you the other day, that this is Chagi Hills, where Pakistan conducted the nuclear tests over here, and then Rasco, then Sihan is over here, then central Makran region is this one, and Makran coastal range is down over here, right? And then Pub range and Hala range, they are in this region. You can see that the difference in colors, that these are a bit higher mountains looking over there. And but we see that whole of this area is highly mineralized. In this region, there is the Sendak copper and gold mine project going on over here. If I zoom it up, this region, you will find a town with the name Sendak over here, and this region has that copper and gold mines over here. But if we move towards the northern regions of Balochistan Plateau over here, we find that this area is really very much famous for coal mining. In the north of Quetta, this is very prominent region for coal mining over here. So it means that whole of this region is highly mineralized, and all sorts of minerals are available in this region, and that is really very important region. So these are the areas really very important. Chagi mentioned over here, as I said, that this is the Chagi Hills region, and Chagi town is there. And here you can see that Dalbandin and Nokundi and Noshki and Zaidan, the Iranian town. So Taftan border is there. So there is the road connecting all these major towns in this region, that is known as RCD highway, connecting Pakistan with Iran over here through road. And so this is the topography, and I was talking about the salty lakes over here. If we zoom further, we can find certain lakes. Here you can see this is the lake, right? And that is the salty lake, what we call the Hamons. And there are many, as they're really very smaller ones, they are not really very bigger ones. That's why not really very much prominent over here on this map. And even the imagery might be of the time when all these lakes might be dried up, as we know that this region is really very hot and dry, and all those lakes, they get dry whenever there is a lot of heat over there. And as I told you that this area is really very much rugged and dry and hot, and the rainfall factor is really very less. What happens that because of this, the water evaporates and leaving a layer of salt over there at the base of the lake, that is known as the salt pan, right? So at the base of the Hamoon, the lake, when the Hamoon dries up, it makes a sort of bowl containing the layer of salt at the bottom, that is known as salt pan. So topography of Balochistan is really very much rugged over here, and this sandy patch you can see over here in Balochistan Plateau, this is Kharan Desert. This whole of the region is deserted, and this is Kharan Desert region. You can witness over here by yourself due to this really very effective interactive image of Balochistan Plateau. So the north of Balochistan, this region is a bit green, having fruit farming, vegetable seeds industry, and dry fruits are being produced over here in this region, Quetta Valley and in the north, Chaman region, and these are the Kila Saifullah and Yob districts over here. So these regions are really very good, and they are providing the dry fruits and the other. You can see here the Kila Saifullah is there, and Pashin is there, and Chaman border is there, Quetta is here, and Job district is over here in the further northeast side of Balochistan. So all these areas, they are having some importance. You can't say that these rugged lands, they are useless and they're having nothing, but they have much in them. So as I told you that the fruit farming is being done. Mineral resources are quite a lot in this region, and more importantly, as I told you that in the south of region, this area has the date palm industry over here, and date palms are being grown over here in the Turbat area and Kech Valley. So very important region this one, and more important and the best one, that is the Gwadar port down over here. Here you can see, here we have the Gwadar port, and this is whole of the Gwadar region, and here is the port area over here. If we further zoom it up, we can see the port region over here. So here you can see the ships being loaded up because of with the help of these cranes over here installed, and ships can be seen, and here is the container terminals over here, where the storage can be done in those containers. And this region is also another very important factor is the fishing industry of this region, and here you can see the fishing port over here. All these smaller boats and the trawlers, they are used for fishing purposes in the Arabian Sea, and that is bringing a greater source of income for the people and for Pakistan, as well as the fish is exported to many of the countries of the world. So really very important area this is, and very important for Pakistan. So it means that Balochistan is not a wasteland, right? So if we focus on Balochistan, if we have the greater projects over there regarding the mining industry and the fruit farming and the fishing industry and Gwadar port, so that would be really very much effective. So as we all know that the CPEC route is also emerging from Gwadar to China across Pakistan. Three routes, the eastern route of CPEC, the central route, and the western route. When we will go to the transport and communication unit, definitely we will discuss these routes over there, and that would be really the game changer of the region and for the sake of development of Pakistan. So Balochistan is going to play really very vital role in coming years. So coming back to the notes. So all these topographical features of the mountains of Balochistan, that is the Toba Kakad range, for example, and deep slopes are there, deep valleys are there, Piedmont plains, as I told that when these smaller water channels, they come down from the mountains, and when they come down to the a bit comparatively flat areas, they divide into many of the branches, the distributaries, and after that, this is known as the alluvial fan. Alluvial fan. And beyond that, this region is the plain area we call Piedmont Plain. As you have witnessed on the Google Earth, that whole of the land is quite rugged and not even. There are certain basins over there that the mountains surrounding areas. Then coastal area is there. Flat and sandy deserts are there, as I have shown you the Haran Desert over there in this region. So drainage features of Balochistan Plateau: inland drainage absorption. The water as I told you that the hormones, they get dry. It means that that is the inland drainage system. Water gets absorbed into the soil because of the heat, or it evaporates, right? So there are smaller rivers in that region. We're going to discuss them as well. Temporary and seasonal, as this region gets really very less rainfall only during winters because of the western depressions. Salty lakes known as Hamoons explained. Hamoon-e-Mashkhel is the largest salty lake in that area. Some rivers drain into the Kachisibi plains. For example, Boal. Some rivers drain into the Arabian Sea like Hingol, Dasht and Hab rivers. Rivers and their drainage. Rivers like Yob, Khandar and Kalachi drains into the Indus River, like as they are the western tributaries, and they flow like this and falls into Indus as Indus goes down like this. Then Loralai, Chakar, Bolan and Mola rivers are absorbed into the Kachisibi plains just on the western side of the Suleiman range. And Hub, Paroli, Dasht, Hingol and Mashkhel, they all drain into the Arabian Sea down southwards. There are many other rivers as well which flows westwards and drains into the shallow depressions called Hamoons. I mean, they make those salty lakes over there. So now the rivers of Balochistan. So here we have Hab River. It originates from Kirthar, Pab and Hala ranges and flows southwards and falls into the Arabian Sea, Nal, Ara and then Hingol rivers. Again, they join together and they fall into the Arabian Sea. And then we have the important one, that is what we see that is the part of your syllabus and can be asked in labeling as well. That is the Dasht River. It enters Pakistan from Iranian side, flows southwards and falls into the Arabian Sea. So these are the prominent rivers of this region, that is the Dasht, Hingol and Hab. So they can be asked in labeling. And the rivers of Balochistan, these rivers, they fall into the Arabian Sea. And the other ones in the north of Balochistan, Yob River and others, as I was explaining, they fall into the Indus River, and few they get absorbed into the plain areas of Balochistan like Kachisibi plains. So here we have the rivers of Balochistan, and Pothwar Plateau is already done. So we are over for this, and I have talked about the economy of that region, mineral resources, fruit farming, vegetable seeds industry, and fishing industry down in south on the coastal areas of Balochistan. And we also talked about the importance of Gwadar port for international trade and the use of Gwadar port for CPEC as well. So all these points, they are related to Balochistan. If we talk about the lifestyle in whole of the Balochistan Plateau, the living is quite unsettled and semi-nomadic. Few important cities are there like Quetta Valley, and some settlements are being established over there in Gwadar region now, as I was showing you in the Google Earth image, that now the settlements and the housing societies are being established over there in Gwadar region, but still whole of the Balochistan does not have the settled living, and people are having the nomadic living. They are nomads, goat and sheep rearing, and they work in the mines as miners. However, overall the lifestyle is not really very much developed. The infrastructure is really very poor, as there is really very sparse and scattered population. It is really very much difficult to provide each and every facility to the scattered population, as Balochistan makes almost half of the area of Pakistan. So really very much difficult to reach out each and every individual in this area because of the rugged landscape, because of the harsh climatic conditions, and because of the lacking resources over there in that area. So for the same reason that the area is not really very much favorable for the sake of carrying out development, that's why we are unable to having the mineral resources being extracted and to be used in the economy of Pakistan. However, we can hope that the potential of Balochistan is that if we focus on all these areas like mineral resources, like fishing industry, like Gwadar port, like infrastructure like CPEC, or the fruit and dry fruit industry of the northern Balochistan, we can be having really very effective benefits we can gain, and we can be really very much sure that whole of Balochistan can feed whole of Pakistan. So this was all about for Balochistan Plateau and Pothwar Plateau for today's lesson. And again, a reminder: subscribe, watch, like, comment, and share the information you are getting from here from my channel RU Speaks, Raja Speaks, at the rate URMR7576. And thank you so much for today. Inshallah, in the next lesson, we'll talk about the characteristics, location, topographical features, and the drainage patterns of the Indus Plains of Pakistan. We are moving towards the end of the unit very, very quickly. Then the deserts and the coastal areas, then the unit will be over. Thank you so much.